Welcome to Golive TV, the future in your hands. The only multicultural IPTV station that brings communities together. Over 2.7 million people have already watched. Golive TV, anytime, anywhere.
Hello, hi everyone. Welcome back to the Cyper show and Happy New Year. Oh my God, I'm so thrilled and excited that we're beginning this year together and you guys are here. And once again, thank you to each and everyone who sent me messages throughout the holidays. And I know that you've had a wonderful, tremendous time with your family. That's what I hope for. And I pray that as we move along together throughout this new year, that we get to share new ideas, that this show gets to evolve you, that we get to evolve together. And I welcome you again as always, and I'm sending you so much love. So as ever, as a tradition, go grab your coffee, your mug of tea, or anything that makes you feel comfortable as we get into the conversation of today. So today I have an incredible guest for you. I always use the word incredible because I don't want to have that limited side of you about the person I'm going to be talking to. I hope that whatever she says, her message today is going to help you in any way or that you feel connected. Welcome to the stage, Claudia Hamilton.
Hello.
Thank you so much for being
Thank you,
here.
Rita, for having me. I'm grateful forever.
Happy New Year to you.
Yes.
Yeah, I love how I love everything. I was talking to her behind the scene. I'm like, oh my God, your crown is incredible. I love it.
Thank you, thank you. The face is from Face of Amani, my niece. So I just wanted to let her
Oh
know.
my God,
everybody
yeah,
know.
literally, I'm like, is the camera zooming into this incredible
Oh,
face
Lord.
today?
Oh,
So
Lord.
yeah, wow. So without further ado, tell me a little bit about you. Who is Claudia Hamilton? Like, if you were to talk to the press, what is the one newspaper you want to be in? Like the biggest.
I'm sorry?
What is the biggest newspaper you want to be in?
Newspaper. Ooh.
Or like a media
Ooh.
outlet?
Media outlets.
Mhm.
I mean, first of all, I would love to be on like OWN TV, Oprah. But about me, so my name is Claudia Hamilton. I was born Claudia Morgan. I took on the last name. That's my father's last name, so I wanted to kind of represent him through my acting career. I was born in North York, but grew up in Etobicoke for the first 9 years. And then I moved a few times when I was younger with my younger sisters. I went to foster care at 9 years old. And luckily, very privileged to have lived in 2 homes rather than moving a lot.
Wow. Okay, I'm going to love you literally because I'm like,
happen.
sorry to cut you off, but maybe before we even go further,
course.
you said like you took on your father's name. Like, did you like willingly to some extent change your name to your dad's name?
Yeah.
When did you decide to do that? Like, and why did you want to present him in the name wise and all that?
So I didn't change it legally, but it's just my stage name. So I remember in my last year of university at York, we were going through the rounds of auditions, and we had to walk into the room when you present yourself, kind of slate, and do your scene. And I remember I walked in one day and I decided prior that I wanted to go by Hamilton, and simply was like, "Hi, my name is Claudia Hamilton." And they looked down, they're like, I thought it was, I just kept going.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And from then on, when I started when I got representation, I went in and said, my name's Claudia Hamilton. I decided to go with the last name when my father was still here. My father's my best friend. And seeing that he had a different last name, the last name Morgan was from his stepfather's name.
Oh, okay.
So he took that name on growing up, but the true family last name is Hamilton. I felt that I wanted to use
within like being on the stage and changing the name, in terms of how you felt or the passion you had in presenting whatever the act you were carrying on, did you feel any type of different? Did you feel like more proud of yourself? Or like when they called your name, did you feel like my father like is proud somewhere?
It was more that I felt more complete.
Wow. Yeah.
For some reason. Claudia Hamilton. I felt that I sound like a great name. I tested different last names in the family, like Caton, Pascal. I was like, I don't know, but then Hamilton, something about it really stuck.
It is solid.
Yeah. So if anything, I felt more confident. It felt more complete. My dad really liked it. He's like, yes, finally somebody.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
So and then you said that from 9 years old you moved into the foster care. Before then, before the 9 years old, were you being raised by your father or by your family? How was your childhood like within that time?
I was raised by both my parents, but they had split. I believe I was 4 years old or 2. It was quite young. I don't remember, but I was aware that they were not together. But I was raised by both of them. And my older brother and sister and my 2 younger sisters. So I'm the middle child. And growing up in Etobicoke, there was a lot of gun violence. But at the same time, it didn't deter from the childhood that I had. And I was a very quiet child and very observant of everyone and everything. I would climb trees and just watch people.
I mean, you're brilliant, so I wouldn't
But aside from that, I kind of helped raise my younger sisters. So whenever my mother was, doing something, I would then take on the role of as the young mom and making sure everything's in place. And if they're upset, I'd, kind of put them in line and help my mom.
Okay. I hope that you get to be on this stage right now. Like, put me in my place. Be like, okay,
God.
I'm a mom. I'm practicing right now.
No.
But like, how did you grow to be closer to your dad, considering that you had this vacant time, and also like it's not a perfect love. Like, they were humans, and like seeing how your family is separate, but you were still be able to give that love and have that connection with your dad. Like, how did you work on it? Was it your mother instinct, or like how was it?
So growing up, the time I spent with both parents, they're very different, by the way. My dad was more outgoing. I remember he would do a lot of, it was like checkers or certain tournaments where he'd get huge trophies and he'd hang them up in the closet. And I was like, wow, like my dad's so ambitious. I didn't know what it was, but I was just like, wow, he has these trophies. Very charismatic man. Everybody, his presence, everybody was just like, oh, Tony, which his name's Anthony, but everyone would call him Tony or Dixie. Yeah. And we'd always drive around just anywhere. He worked at Woodbine Racetrack with horses. So I had some time spent with him while he was tending to the horses. He would show me when he'd fix cars, like, okay, you go under the hood like this, and or I'd drive in the front seat when I was small, when I wasn't supposed to. But when I was with him, it was freeing, and I felt like I could kind of be myself the most with my father. And I shared as much as I can, and he shared whatever, and he just brought me everywhere, Wow. So I think that our relationship kind of just grew, and even when I went into care, when we'd have, say, visitation time, he'd always make sure to go for a drive. Our one thing was always going for a drive, a long drive, real fast.
Oh my God. That's wonderful. And then like, I'm like listening to everything, like how he chose got that time in between to kind of make sure that he spends more time with it, even if he's working, to make sure that yes, I'm working, I'm sort of busy, but you're still right here with me. You can have conversations. You can learn to do what I'm doing. Yeah. Like, during the foster care, how did that shape you? Because we've seen the movies or read the books where people talk about horrible things that happen to them when they say, I'm this person today, or I'm more reactive or more vulnerable because I was in a foster care like this. How did that moment in life shape you?
Well, I remember when I was in foster care, there was a lot of events where we had to meet up with other foster children. Whether it's Christmas events mainly, I remember like roller rink events, just kind of activities to kind of allow us to be more social, get to know other people, especially in care, so it's more relatable. And every time I went to those events, I dreaded it because I found that the way that these other youth, and I was youth, carried themselves, I didn't want to be like that. Yeah. It was a lot of just... this is just what the people that I've met, it was a lot of just kind of down, poor me, a little bit of depression. And not to say I wasn't going through depression at the time, but I didn't want that to dictate who I was, Yeah. So I would always try to be as positive as possible and, make friends and just kind of be outgoing. And even though I was struggling inside, I didn't want that to be, my outer facing self to present myself. So every time I went to the events, I just kind of sit to the corner because it just wasn't happening. I wasn't making friends. And so through care, although it could have easily kind of cracked me and I would have been in a very different situation, I made a decision to push through.
I love that. You made a decision. It's like a conscious decision saying, this is not what I want. This is not how I want to present myself.
Yeah.
Wow, but you were really young. Like I'm more than like impressed right now, and more moved by, but who you are as a person. Like also like the person you decided to become. If anything, I want to say like before we even get too far, I want to say that I'm really proud of you because I feel challenged and I feel. I feel educated, like at emotional level, not educated in a way that my mind is expanded, but in a way that I feel within my roots that it is possible to change in anything. That it is a decision that has to be made in any circumstance. And I love that you know your pain. Like I can see you're joyful. Like I've met you before. Like I've had the pleasure and the honor to see you behind the stage and also outside, and to see how joyful you are. I wouldn't have thought of this life as yours. I don't know if maybe that's a little naive, but like I love the woman you are. I love the woman you are, and I'm so proud of that. So you were telling us like within the age of at the age of 10, you already made a decision of who you want to become, and also knowing that you don't want to embrace your pain as entirely who you are. You can recognize with it, but not be it. How do you tell the difference between those two? Because it's a thin line, and knowing that yes, I do have this pain. This is my story. I'm going to own it. Because you don't change it. You don't feel ashamed of it. But at the same time, you also are able to move on and have a life outside that. So how do you differentiate? When do you know how to shift from one angle to the other? Like how do you cross that bridge?
Well, so going into care at 9 years old, I didn't quite discover the need to change, the want to change until I was 12. So between 9 and 10, it was kind of a huge shakeup of the world. You know, the way my younger sisters and I went to care was the not very traditional way, I guess you can say. It was very unexpected.
How so?
Yeah, so I actually wrote a short on this, and hopefully one day I can, have some people casting in. But
oh, those who are watching right now and on some like Netflix contacts and stuff, please DM us.
Who knows? But like every detail from the second I woke up, or well. So basically that morning, there was a little bit of tumultuous, like a little bit of fighting at home. And I remember when my youngest sister, she wanted to have this watch from the cereal box. And my brother was like, no, we're getting ready to go to school. You need to go to school. And she was like really upset. And my mother was holding my youngest sister, who was, I was 9, she was 5. At the top of the stairs, and my sister was just kind of like just really upset, and she inevitably fell down the stairs. Yeah. And we were rushing her to school, so it was kind of like, okay, you're okay, it's okay. She was still crying, and she went to school. And later that day, her teacher came to me, and she's like, hey, is everything okay? Like, your sister came in crying, and I was like, yeah, everything's fine. And I kept it short because I was like, I was very much aware that people and getting your business, we already had a worker in our life, and the worker was actually in our lives before we were here for another situation. Yeah. And I, kept reiterating, it's okay, like it's fine. She's upset. I will talk to her. Being the kind of little mom I was.
Oh my God.
Young adult.
Everything is under control.
I came to her to reassure her, like, hey, it's okay. Let's talk about it. Let's figure it out. And at the end of the day, my mother always comes like quarter to the time when the bell rings. And we were called down to the office. Ken, Claudia, Diane, Maxine, the Morgan sisters specifically come down to the office. Yeah. And it was maybe 30 minutes at a time, and it was very weird. I'm like, maybe my mother's here. And we got put into a room, all 3 of us, and our worker was there, and there was a police officer there. And I'm just we were confused, but very scared. Yeah. Also, too, like police officers, I remember growing up, police officers was always like, the fear and just be careful what you do and just watch yourself, even just being as a Black person in general, and it's unfortunate. Yeah. So already having the fear. And asking us questions. What happened? This is that. And keeping it very short. Again, my sisters are crying and I'm trying to make sure they're okay. And all of a sudden, we're in the back of a police car. And I know that to the right is my mom's home, but we turned to the left and we just left. I was like, am I going to see my mom? He's like, I don't know.
Oh, God.
And then I didn't see my mom for a while. We didn't see our mom for a while.
Like, how long are we talking
Like,
about?
went to a replacement home for like a temporary home for the night. Candy, her name was, she was amazing.
Yeah.
We wish we stayed with her because the home following that wasn't very nice. I think we didn't see our mom for like a month or something, like a long while.
My God, yeah.
And on my mom's end, my mom didn't know we were taken. So she's coming to school to come pick us up and just all of a sudden heard that our children are taken into care immediately.
Wow.
So that story going into it and decision from 9 to 12, you know, I didn't know what to do. I just felt the feeling of depression, but I didn't know what it was either. I just felt sad. But at the same time, I was like, you know, trying to figure out life, trying to make friends, but feeling the shame of being in foster care.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was and trying to figure it out. And at the age of 12, that's when I started acting. And I went to musical theater. I went to a drama camp.
Wow.
And I was like, I don't know what this is. Like, okay. And they're like, okay, so you have to audition with a song. And I already loved singing. And you have to find some sort of monologue. And I was like, okay, what's a monologue? And I memorized something I sang, Colors of the Wind.
Wow.
Pocahontas.
Do you want to do like a line or two?
No.
No? Okay, we'll bring her back.
Maybe
with
next
the
time. Maybe
stage.
next time.
Okay.
And it was for The Little Mermaid. And that is when I got my first role as Ariel. Little Mermaid, the main role. First ever time, you know, acting. And that's when I found a home.
So you've been, let me get I'm trying to get a clear picture. So you've been through these foster homes at this time. And
This is the first foster home.
This is the first one. And you got introduced to acting. How did that come about? Like, did the foster?
Yeah, the foster mom, she was all about activities, wanting to make us just do stuff
That's
to
amazing.
get out of the house. So she was a very creative woman. Like, I appreciate the things she put me into, but it just, at the house we lived at, it wasn't a home. It was just a house.
Yeah, a roof over your head kind of thing.
You know? But I found a home on stage. So, you know, I learned how to sew. I took a bit of singing lessons. She put me into it. She realized I loved it. She's like, okay, I guess I'll throw you in there. And with acting, she's like, okay, let's try this. You feel like singing, let's try this. And that was when I found the love of acting. One, because it allowed me to mask everything. And I could manage the anxiety, the depression, the sadness that I felt at that home, that house, sorry. And I died.
You were able to lose yourself in the acting, that you weren't like did they feel like you were expressing your emotions or you were still able to express it? Because I've seen like musicians, they sing at some point and they cry. Like they burst into tears, they let their emotions out. But in acting, how does it come about? Because sometimes you're told to smile or laugh, or like you're given this fun, happy character, but that's not how you're feeling. So how are you able to channel yourself to still be yourself while you're also acting at the same time?
So my first love was singing.
Oh, okay.
So since it was musical theater, being on stage and singing and with a bit of the acting, I felt that I was able to express myself a lot easier, but no one knowing that this is truly how I'm feeling and the tears are truly from something within versus like, oh, I'm just pulling from something to create. No. This is my moment where I can actually cry, where I can actually let it out. Otherwise, I am holding it in 28/7, you know?
Oh, God.
So it was a pure channel. And it was the only place where I felt seen and heard.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would have been, you know, seen but not heard, did everything that I need to do, don't talk back. I'd never really talked back, but don't even like express your opinion, your thought, or else, you know, in the first home.
I don't know, I'm so moved to the extent that we're going to go for a break, a few seconds. For this, like, if you are still following, share the videos, comment below. We want to hear your thoughts. And also, if Claudia's story resonates with you, or if you've learned something from it, or if you just want to send her, I don't know, like a round of applause, because that's what I'm doing at this moment. Like, not just from a place of admiration, but from a place of being proud and so glad of because of who you are. And they're putting behind the photos and the videos of your work, your acting. We're going to come and dive more deeper into that. So guys, stay with us and we'll see you in a second.
This is our family.
This is our life.
And we are Leuna.
Welcome to Golive TV, the future in your hands. The only multicultural IPTV station that brings communities together. Over 2.7 million people have already watched. Golive TV, anytime, anywhere.
Welcome back, beautiful people. I'm still here with Queen Claudia Hamilton. I'm going to add Queen because soon you guys are going to be fundraising for a crown because I want an expensive one. We've been having so many incredible guests here, and I feel like at this stage in time, we have to be creating some tangible physical things to give. So we're coming back, and I want to dive deeper into your acting. How's that hard? Like, how does that help you serve? You're in service to yourself in terms of like you're healing yourself, you're becoming and also realizing the deeper parts of yourself. How else does acting help you?
So the journey of acting for me started with musical theater. More musicality, singing, the dancing, the movement, more entertainment, bigger. And that was already outside of my field as being kind of observant and quiet. And it kind of, allowed me to truly express myself fully.
Yeah.
Then when I transitioned to theater. I went to York University for theater.
Wow.
And that was a little bit more classical and traditional. And with my, very analytical self, but also still creative, I felt that, okay, this is a good middle ground, a good basis to jump into film and television. And when I went into theater, I found that anytime there was a push and pull and resistance, you're about to do something great.
Wow.
I had to learn that so many times, and I didn't quite clue into that until kind of now.
That sounds heavy. Like it took me off guard because we're always thinking, what if it's opposite what I'm meant to be? Like it should be easier if it's really mine. But the push and pull period it's never easy.
Never.
Is it?
And I remember the push and pull when it came to vulnerability and emotions. It was one thing with theater. It's not like, I never cried on stage, but it was just the singing allowed to have all those fluctuations of emotions flow. But then when it came to just speaking and being, that was hard. I found it very difficult because it was like, okay, I'm stripping off the mask that I used to carry of just being, musical and large, and we're going to bring it a little closer and bring it a little bit more intimate. Still projecting to an audience and just standing.
Yeah.
And I found that the push and pull when it came to really transmuting really the emotions, the pain into something, great, the creative artistry of acting.
Yeah.
I found that it opened up something, it broke something. I wanted to be more authentic. I wanted to truly just, without needing others to validate, being seen and heard.
Because I'm thinking like now you are moved closer to the audience where you're using words. Now you have to communicate. Whereas singing, it's you channel the emotions, but you not specifically have to use words to express yourself, right?
Singing every line.
Yeah, it's like
Which was wonderful. I loved it. I still love it. But now just kind of using the words and realizing I didn't talk a lot as a kid. I was always kind of just to myself. So realizing, wow, when it came to expressing myself verbally, it was very hard. And, I used to read the dictionary and try to get large words and sound smart and whatever. But with theater, it was like, no, you gotta,
you just have to be yourself.
You have to just
and
be present, be there. So with that, the mixture and going into film and television, now even more intimate, you're right here with the eyes, if anything, speaking, the little nuances. I found that I wanted to be the most authentic self. So being grounded and just, finding the stillness and the
being
presence.
still. I love those words, like vulnerability and being still. When you took on your journey of being vulnerable, how do you embark that? Mostly considering that you are a Black woman. Like it's a different story when it gets to that, because you want to look mostly as a person who has gone through all this journey of life just beating you down, pulling you down every now and then, and also realizing and looking around you that there isn't really anything you can say that, you know what, I've had a happy childhood, so I am stronger. Or I've had a happy childhood, so I don't have wounds to cover. But now you have you're this person with scars who is most likely to pretend to be strong, because if you're vulnerable, then everybody gets to see that I can easily hurt Claudia because she hasn't experienced that much love. I can easily step on your toes. But how do you get to say, you know what, I'm unafraid and there is beauty out there to be embarked or to be embraced, which I believe right now you have, because I'm looking at how much you've turned around your life, and I'm realizing that, yes, there is joy you've had, but that took you deciding to be still and choosing to be vulnerable. But how does that when do you decide that, when do you feel like you're ready and be unafraid to do that?
Yeah. So I keep saying the word presence and stillness only because I just finished the book Eckhart Tolle. Oh Lord, what's the name of it? The Power of Now.
Yeah, the Power of Now.
That's what it's called. With that, when I made the choice, say at 12 years old, to know that I wanted to do great things. I wanted to not be seen by the pain body. It was explained in the book, pain body, the trauma that I identify myself with. And even living in a predominantly white community in both houses, white households, white school, everything, the only Black girl.
Oh God.
It was okay, you either you sink or you swim, or you get a boat and you sail,
Wow.
And I put myself out there. Because I was okay, it's either I'm gonna walk and people, shoot arrows at me and be afraid to be vulnerable and let it hit me, or I'm going to embrace it and just be who I am, and to know that there's someone out there who will accept it and appreciate it. So, I was on student council for publicity. I did the announcements. And then I won awards for the Black Alliance in Vaughan. And although I was the only Black girl in school, and then eventually there was another Black girl in school. So I was so what's this award for? I'm just representing myself in the school, or okay. Thank you, But then there were a few people who were Black that came to the school, and people would get us mixed up.
Wow.
I don't know how. We didn't look anything alike. Her name was Veronica. She was a great girl. And I had a girl talk to me about me to myself, not realizing I was me.
Wow.
She's have you seen Claudia today? I was
oh my goodness.
Okay. She thought I was Veronica. Just the ignorance, and I could have easily let that hit me, but I was I'm going to laugh about it because, the ignorance is, I'm okay.
It's a lot. Right. Yeah.
We're gonna move to Toronto, and we're gonna just keep pushing. But being a Black woman and embracing self,
vulnerability and realizing that you can be present and be vulnerable, but also like not be made of a joke, or like still be strong and defend yourself when you can. Maybe another, as we come to the close of the show, two questions I'd love to ask you. What is one thing, not one, like in summary, maybe like two things, because I feel like it's going to be a lot, and I'd love to hear all of them, but in the sense of the things you're most proud of yourself, of your past self in the now.
The things that I'm most proud of. Well, one, I'm just very proud of myself to know that my 12-year-old self, say, looking at myself now, is like, wow, you did it.
Yeah.
You really did it. You really went to the light at the end of the tunnel. I would always tell myself that. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. I don't know why, God, why am I going through this? Why? And
It's okay, take your time.
just getting a little emotional. And I'm just proud, aside from, the accomplishments and doing what I love.
Yeah.
And then even exploring new things that I didn't realize I loved, like UX design, coding, tech.
Yeah.
Being a Black
She's
woman
a
in
designer,
tech.
guys. So
We're getting into it.
I'm going to be asking about that.
But I'm just proud of who I am now and who I'm becoming. The woman I'm becoming is here now. Every single moment, I decide and choose to become a better person. I choose to become, present and vulnerable and just in love with myself, embracing myself, natural hair. And it wasn't easy. And with the help of people around me, family, and, my boyfriend, Candelo. And yeah, I'm just, there's so many things, so many little things, but it's just of self, just like I'm proud of myself, of who the person I've become now and who I'm becoming.
Maybe like another thing would be, what is one secret or one key you found out right now at the age you're at that you think if Claudia, the younger you, knew, like one advice you would give her, but I don't want to say advice because that's a shortcut. I want to say a secret that you found out, knowing that you had the key all along, that you had the power, or that there is beauty that you're going to grow to become. There is amazing things, great love that is going to come along. What is one thing that you would let her know if you could travel back in time and let her know, just to bring her back?
Just one?
Just one. Just because
3
I
words
think
in one
it's kind of
sentence?
powerful.
Yeah. One thing that, that's a hard thing. Well, the number one thing is self-love, to really love yourself. There are people who already love you, but, it won't matter if you don't love yourself enough. I kind of want to just add, just to not, not put so much pressure on yourself. Learn to enjoy every single moment rather than stressing about tomorrow.
Wow.
So really embrace those moments. Don't be so hard on yourself.
Okay.
It's okay.
That was for your younger self. Now I would love you to talk. I would love for you to talk to the audience. Like maybe let them know where they can find you in terms of your social media. If you have a website, also let us know. And also, if you want to give them a message, just a message of encouragement to the person who maybe is going through the same things you've gone through. Someone who's struggling with the family love. Someone who recently lost their loved ones. Because I've realized that you're also struggling with grief, but also you've found a way to still be, be present and be vulnerable and present. I'm realizing all the words you use, you're just leaving them out there. So give them a message and also let us know where we can find you.
So I'm on Instagram, so _Claudia Hamilton _. I also have a website, which I'm brushing up a little bit, but Claudia T. Hamilton. IMDb Claudia Hamilton. I'll be posting some of my work. And a message for everyone. Aside from all the key little droplets,
you can, if you want, you can refer to those as well.
To embrace allowing yourself to be seen and heard. And every day I'm always trying to push myself to do that. It's important, even as just BIPOC, people of color, Black people, to know you can take up space, take up room, no matter how quiet your voice is, you have a voice and people will listen,
Wow. I mean, I'm here to listen, literally, guys. Share this video and also let Claudia know how much we appreciate her as the Cyper community that we are here for you. We're here to listen, and you're more than seen because I feel touched. I feel I've learned a lot, and I'm going to definitely rewatch this video like 100 or a couple times to be able to learn those. I picked up two things, and I feel like those will carry me along longer. Like being still and being vulnerable, mostly vulnerability. So let me know, guys, what you have picked up and also that the message has sent you. And I will see you again next Thursday at 3 p.m. I'm sending you so much love. And me and Claudia are going to get more knowledge. So thank you so much. See you again.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ngarambe Rita Lawrence. I am with Golive TV. You can download their app from your app store, follow them on YouTube as well, and see you there. God bless you and sending you so much love. Thank you.
This is our family.
This is our life.